He was gone by the time the kettle finished boiling. His wardrobe was empty, his car was gone, and every message I sent stayed on grey tick. That's how I found out the man I thought I'd marry had taken £15,000 of my savings and disappeared. Hi, Aunt Jay. I'm 28 and I've been with Tom for almost 3 years. We met at a friend's engagement party, and it was one of those whirlwind connections. He was charming and confident, worked in property sales. He said he'd never met anyone like me. 6 months later, he moved into my flat. It wasn't fancy, but I owned it. Well, I was paying the mortgage. He always complimented the place, says he admires how independent I was. I thought that meant he respected me. Around a year later, he started talking about our future, buying somewhere bigger, marriage, maybe kids. I was the cautious one, the saver. He was the dreamer with big ideas. Just need a bit of capital to get started. That kind of energy. He told me about a house flip opportunity. His colleague had found a property. They could buy cheap, renovate and sell fast. He put in 10 grand, and if I could add 15, we'd double it within 3 months. I hesitated, but he made it sound so legitimate. He showed me paperwork, photos, a budget plan. We talked about it for weeks. He said, it's not like I'm borrowing from you. We're investing together for our future. So I did it. I transferred over £15,000 straight away from my savings. My mum had warned me to be careful with joint money before marriage, but I was sure she just didn't understand what it felt like to trust someone completely. For the first few weeks, he played the part. Phone calls with builders, long evenings looking at fixtures online. Then the communication slowed. He said his phone had died, or that he was working late, or that the deal was at a delicate stage. Then by Tuesday morning, he said he was driving to a site visit in Nottingham. He kissed me goodbye. By the afternoon, the money was gone. His number had stopped working. His office said he resigned a week before. The police called it a civil matter. The bank couldn't reverse the transfer because I'd sent it willingly. His friends claimed they hadn't seen him in weeks. I felt so stupid, humiliated and angry at him, but even angrier at myself. For months I couldn't sleep properly. I kept replaying every moment I'd ignored my own gut. When he'd borrowed my laptop, when he insisted that we used his email for the property paperwork. Little things that just didn't feel wrong until it was too late. My dad did try to help me trace him, but legally there was nothing we could do. The contract wasn't real. The name he had used for the company was slightly altered from a real one, and I'd never checked. The £15,000 was my deposit cushion, years of saving from working 2 jobs in my early 20s. The worst part wasn't even the money. It was realising that I'd built my whole future around someone who only saw me as an opportunity. It's been just over a year now, and I've rebuilt slowly. I rented out my spare room just to recover some income. And I'm studying part-time for a financial advisor course because I refuse to ever be that naive again. Sometimes people ask me why I didn't chase him harder or take him to court. But to be honest, I was exhausted. The idea of sitting in a courtroom facing someone who never even planned to stay, it just wasn't worth losing any more of myself. I learned the hard way that love and trust don't belong in the same sentence as loan or investment. If someone truly plans to build a life with you, they'll protect what's yours, not risk it. Oh, you're not the first and you won't be the last. And what you've described is exactly how financial manipulation looks when it's dressed up as romance. It's not stupidity, it's trust. Trust used against you. People like him know how to blur the lines between our money and your money. They talk about a shared future, so you'll ignore the red flags. And once emotions are mixed with finance, logic takes a back seat. Here's the thing everyone should be taking from this. If you're not legally married or in a registered partnership, there is no such thing as joint money unless it's on paper in both names with written proof of repayment. Anything else is just a gift in the eyes of the law. And next time anyone tries to tell you it's not borrowing, it's investing together, tell them investments come with paperwork and lawyers, not promises and kisses. You've learned the hard way, yeah. But you also took back control, studying finance. This is how you turn pain into power. And that £15,000, think of it as tuition in self-protection. Because the real win now is not getting your money back. It's about knowing that no one will ever get that kind of access to you again. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Have you ever been in a situation like this? And if you have, what did you do? Now we'll move on to our second story today. He was supposed to stay for 2 weeks. That's what he said when he turned up on my doorstep with a duffel bag and a half-broken smile. Hi, Aunt Jay. I'm 29, and when I met Trent, I'd been single for almost a year. He worked at a logistic firm near mine. Funny, confident, and good with words. He'd messaged me little voice notes during the day, and before I knew it, we were seeing each other every night. Well, about 4 months into our relationship, he told me his landlord was selling the flat and he'd had nowhere else to go. Just a couple of weeks, he said. I'll sort out a new place soon. I didn't hesitate. I had the space and besides, I liked having him around. And at first it was fun. He'd cook dinner, did the laundry, even fixed a shelf that had been hanging wonky for months. But then that job, what was once solid, suddenly got shaky. He started saying his hours were cut. His pay slip was delayed. I didn't question it. I mean, we were together. Couples help each other. But then little things started to change. He stopped transferring his share of the bills on time. I'd pay and tell myself it was temporary. My savings account had about £8,000. Money I'd been building towards a house deposit. But then when he said his car broke down, I covered the repairs. And when his mum got sick, I was the one who covered his train fare for him to go and see her every time. And all the time he kept saying, I'll pay you back next week. After a while I did start noticing excuses stacking up one on top of each other. He'd say the bank was holding a transfer or his managers promised him back pay. His confidence never wavered. He always had a ready story, calm and believable. And by month 4, the fridge was emptier and my account was lighter. And he was home all day, job hunting. One morning I opened my banking app and saw another withdrawal, £400 for groceries. Only it wasn't me. I confronted him and he said he'd used my card by accident. That night I hid my bank card, but then 2 days later I found a cash advance alert from my credit card. He'd memorised my details. When I challenged him again, he flipped it, said I was overreacting and that couples are supposed to share everything, and it was just money. And somehow I ended up apologising. My breaking point came when my landlord texted to say the rent hadn't cleared. I checked my rent account and it was nearly empty. He transferred money to himself using the online banking app saved on my laptop. That night we had a huge row and I told him to leave. He called me selfish, said I'd changed, then packed his bags, slammed the door and left for good. By the time I blocked him, he'd taken just over £6,000 in total, Savings, rent, bills, even small cashbacks from shopping. My bank couldn't help. The transfers were authorised under my login. For weeks I couldn't tell anyone. I just felt pathetic. How did I let someone live off me like that? My best friend finally convinced me to tell my parents, and my dad's reaction really hurt. You're way too soft. You let him do it, he's told me. And maybe I did, but it wasn't softness. I was wanting to believe that I actually mattered to him. It's been 9 months now, and I'm slowly getting back on my feet, rebuilding the savings that he burnt through. I'm single, and that's the way it'll stay for a while. Now when anyone says, I just need a place to stay for a bit, I just smile and say, I hope you find one. Because now I've learned that generosity without boundaries isn't kindness. It's just self-destruction disguised as love. That's one of the most common traps there is, and it doesn't get talked about enough. This wasn't a love story that went wrong. This was financial dependency disguised as romance. When someone starts treating your home and your wallet like a safety net, you stop being a partner and start being a provider. You did what any caring person would do. You helped. But help without limits turned into survival for them and struggle for you. You need to remember, if someone ever moves in temporarily, keep your finances separate until you're committed. Not just for comfort. Shared addresses don't mean shared accounts. And once the excuses start stacking up, late pay, borrowed cards, missing rent, that's not bad luck, that's a pattern. You can rebuild money, but you can't rebuild trust once it's been used as currency. So hold on to that lesson. The next time you open your door, let them bring their own keys, their own account, and their own independence. That's what real partnerships look like. Oh, those are my thoughts. Have you ever found yourselves in any of these situations? What advice do you have? And what would you do? How would you deal with them? Let me know in the comments section below. Let's keep the conversation going. And thanks for watching, and subscribe for more true stories like this. I post every single week. But until next time, guard your heart and protect your peace.